Hey, what's up everyone? So in the last episode, we were able to take a look at various JavaScript data types. Now in this episode, I want us to take a closer look at strings because as I told you in the last video, we have various methods which we can make use of when working with strings. So in this particular episode, we are going to see how we can get a string length. We are going to see how we can access various characters. We are going to see immutability in strings, and also we are going to take at 12 common string methods. Okay, so these methods are actually easy to understand, so don't worry that they are too many. You just need to know about them, and then once you need them, you can be able to like Google string methods and you'll know what they mean. Okay, so cool, let's just get started with string length. So before we get started, I have one word for you: enjoy. So with the string length right here, I already have a variable defined, my name, and I have given it a string right here, Chaoo Charles. Now to get the length of this one, we can say my name, and then right here we will have access to a property called length, and this will return the length of our string, and we can store that a particular value in a variable. So right here I can say let result be equal to my name dot length. Now this result will store the length of my name, and my name is actually Chaoo Charles right here. Okay, now we can log this result to the console. So right here I'll say result. Now when I save this, we get 13, and when you count these characters, you should actually get 13 including the space right here. Okay, yeah, that is cool. Now right here we have something very special that I need to talk about. So this length is called a property, and we also have what we call methods. So we haven't taken a look at them yet, but I'll try to explain them to you right now. But if you don't understand, don't worry too much, because when we get objects, that is when we'll start looking at things like properties and methods, because properties and methods are found in objects. Now you might ask yourself, in the last episode we said that strings are primitive types. They are not objects, and if they are not objects, they shouldn't have access to properties and methods. So why can we use a property like this one right here? So what happens is that when JavaScript was being created, we needed to work more with strings. And to do that, as I told you, objects are complex and they are so powerful. There was need to like introduce properties and methods into strings, and also into numbers and some other primitive types, so that we can be able to do more functionality with them easily. Okay, now strings will remain to be primitive types. So what happens is that when we access a property like this one, a temporary object wrapper is created, and this object wrapper knows the value of our string right here. Okay, it knows the value of my name, for example, which is this one, and then it has properties and special methods which we can make use of. So it will take that value, and then it will get the property of length. So it will give us the length of that particular string, and then it will return it. And once it returns it, it is destroyed automatically by our JavaScript engine, because our primitive types are supposed to be so fast. Okay, and this happens behind the scene. It is a temporary object wrapper which have access to our string method right here. It knows its value. It has these special properties and methods which it can use to give us back a result. Once it gives us a result, then it is automatically destroyed, and our string right here remains the way it is. It is not changed at all. Okay, and let me show you an example of that. So we have a particular string method. So I know we haven't gotten into method yet, but for you to understand this, let me explain it right now. Okay, so we have a a special string method which we can use to replace our string right here, and it's actually called replace. So right here I can say result will be equal to, and then I'll say my name dot. So we have this special method replace, and for a method we usually call it or invoke it or make it work using these brackets like this. Okay, these brackets, we'll be seeing more about it later on. And then it accepts two arguments. So arguments are special values which we can pass in here, and then they'll be used to do something or some functionality, and then give us a value using those particular arguments. So they are called arguments when we pass it directly as values, and then they are known as parameters when we pass them as variables. Okay, so let's see an example. So right here I'm supposed to pass in the string, the substring right here, or a piece of string that I want to replace. Let's say I want to replace Chaoo right here. And what do I want to replace it with? I want to replace it with this particular string, I am. So that our string right here will be I am Charles. Now, when I save this, we should log result to the console and we should see I am Charles. So when I save, you see I am Charles. So we have replaced Chaoo here with I am. Now, as I told you, this method will give us a value, but it will leave our string right here the way it is. It will not change it at all. And we'll see again when we get to immutability. So right here, I can come right here and I can say console.log of my name. So console.log of my name, like that. When I save, you'll see that we still get Chaoo Charles right here, which is our name right here. So our string is not attached or changed. The only thing that happens is that that object wrapper knows its value. It then like manipulate the string, that particular value, using this method replace, and then it returns it and stores that particular value in a new variable. So this one will not change at all, not unless we direct it specifically to a different string. So you need to understand that our string will remain the same despite of these properties and methods, and that is why strings still are called primitive types, because their values never change, unlike in objects that as we'll be seeing later on. Okay, cool. I needed to like explain that very clearly, and I hope you have understood. If you haven't understood, let me give you a conclusion. Strings are primitive types despite having properties and methods. Okay, cool. Now right here, I told you this is a method, and before we have made use of functions, right? So what is the difference between a method and a function? So in terms of functionality, essentially they are the same. Now the difference is that a method is usually created inside an object, and how we access it is using that object name and then that particular function name. And in that case, we call it a method. But in terms of functionality, a function and a method are the same. So a function is usually stand alone. So right here we could have like a function like this: const say hello, like that. And then I can make it to be an arrow function. So I want to show you an example so that you understand the difference between a method and a function. And then right here we have these brackets which accept arguments or parameters. Okay, this is not supposed to be that way. So this is an equal sign. Then you have these brackets which accepts parameters or arguments. And then right here we include these curly brackets, and we can have something right here. So right here I can just say console.log of hello. And then how we call this function right here is just by saying say hello, and then we call it using these brackets. Now when I save this, we should get hello somewhere here. There we go, hello. Now you can see functions are stand alone, but with methods, these are just functions like these ones which are inside objects. So we need the object name and then the function name, and in that case, that is when we call them methods. But these terms are used interchangeably. So when you hear someone interchanging between a method and a function, they are actually like the same, just that methods are inside an object and function are stand alone. Okay, so that is it. And let me explain to you the difference between arguments and parameters. So when we pass direct values like this one, this way, these are known as arguments. When do we call them parameters? So right here, I can create a variable. So I can say let first name be equal to Chaoo. So I'll set this to be a string, Chaoo. Now, when I pass this first name right here, first name like that, I'll have access to Chaoo. Okay, and when I save, we should actually get the same result. I am Charles. Okay, so we are replacing Chaoo with I am. Now, in this case, this is an argument because we passed a direct value to it. And then right here now, this one is now known as a parameter because we are passing it as a variable. So that is the only difference between arguments and parameters. Okay. So in this particular episode is not about functions and methods and parameters. It's about strings, but you need to understand this before we move on. Okay. Okay, cool. Since you know the difference, let me now return this to Chaoo, and then I'll just remove this one, and then we can just continue. Okay, so this is how we get the length, and we have now taken a look at one of the methods. So this is actually now supposed to be under methods. So let me take it there so that it's a bit organized. And then right here we have accessing characters. So how do we access characters in our string? So in our string, we can access character using the square brackets. So for example, let's say we want to access this first character right here. So we can say let result be equal to, so right here I'll say my name, and then I use square brackets, and then we pass in the position of our character. So I'll pass in position 0. So JavaScript counts from 0. So it will get us our first character here. But right here you can see we are changing our result again. So I should comment out this one, and I can remove this one. Okay. Now when I save, we should get a C on the console. So when I save that, you see, we get C on the console. What if we want to get this particular character? So we'll say 0, 1, 2. So right here, I'll say 2. Although A is at the third position, I told you JavaScript is counting from 0. When I save that, then we get A on the console. So this is how we can get a specific character in JavaScript. Okay. Now, strings are immutable, and we have seen an example of that when using replace, like they don't change. And we can have another example right here just to solidify that concept. So right here, maybe we can say let my name right here, and then we use the square bracket since we have seen how it works. Let's access A again here, and let's try to change the value of A to capital A. Okay, like that. And then right here, let's try to log our A to the console. So I will say let result be equal to my name, and then I use the square brackets 2. So now we are taking the value of this A and storing it to our result, and then we are logging the result to the console. When I save, we are still getting small a, and when we change this to maybe K, we are still getting small a. So we can never change the value of our string right here. They are immutable. Unlike objects, objects are mutable. We can change their properties and values. So that is the main difference between primitive types and objects. Okay, cool. Now let's come now to string methods. Okay, and as I told you, these methods are accessible by a special object wrapper which is created and destroyed automatically by our JavaScript engine. Okay, later on in the course, we'll be seeing how JavaScript engine works. So we'll see more about that. Now, right here, we have various methods which we can use to maybe manipulate our string and give us a different value. So right here, we have already seen one, replace. Now let's take a look at more. So maybe this one can start right there. And then now we can have result. We have methods to change our string into uppercase and into lowercase. So we can say my name dot to lowercase, and then I invoke this. When I save, you'll see that everything now is in lowercase. Despite having this in capital and this one in capital, everything is in lowercase. We can get them in uppercase. We can have result, and then we say my name dot to uppercase, and when I invoke that or call it, then we will get it in uppercase, just like that. Awesome. Now this is to change them into lowercase or uppercase. Now we can get a specific position of a certain character. So for example, let's say we want to get the position of H. So we can make use of a method called index of. So right here we can say result will be equal to my name dot index of, and then I invoke this. So right here I pass H. Now this should give us the position of this one, which is 0, 1. Now when I save, we should get 1 on the console. And there we go. And now this is taking the first H right here, but you can see we have another one right here. Now optionally, we can have a second argument which we can use to tell from which position should we start counting. So let's start counting from position 2. Now in this case, it will start from here and go forward. So it will get the position of this particular H. Now when I save, we should get a different value, which is 7. And when you count, you should actually get this at position 7. And when you are counting, please start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count the space, 6, and then 7. So that is awesome. Optionally, you can pass from which position to start counting from. Now, when index of doesn't find a particular value or a particular character, then it will return -1. So if we don't have like you, it will give us -1. Okay, so this is getting the position of a character. Now we have another way of doing it. We can use what we call last index of, and that now will count from our right side. So if we have result, and then we say my name dot last index of, we invoke this. So now right here we should pass our character or substring. So right here we can pass in H. Now this one will start looking for H from our right side instead of our left side. So when we used index of, it started from here, okay, and then it went this way, and it got this one as the first one. Now last index of will start this side, and it will get this as the first one. So it will give us 7, because once it get it, it will look at its position. Now it will count from this side, but it located it starting from this side. The position of this one was 7, so it will give us 7. Now when I save, we get 7. Okay, that is the last index of. It looks for our H from the right side. Okay, cool. Now we have some methods which we can use to just check whether a substring or a character just exists. We don't need to know its position. We just want to know if it exists or not. Now in that case, we have several methods. The first one is includes. So we can say result will be equal to my name dot includes. So right here we have a method called includes. We invoke it, and then right here we pass in our character or substring. So when I say substring, it's a portion of our string. So if I say Chaoo, that is now a substring of our big string here, and this will return either true or false. Remember the Boolean, which was true or false to tell us yes or no. Now here you'll see it in action. So this will return us a Boolean value which is either true or false. When I save, that is true. So that means that Chaoo exists in our string. Now when we include maybe Chaoo with triple O here, or we include the O's and save, that should give us false because this substring does not exist. And actually, by the way, you can use substring with these ones. So right here, I can also say Chaoo like that, and this will give us the position of Chaoo starting with the first character. So this will give us 0. So you can also use substring here and also substring here. Okay, I failed to mention that. Okay, so back to includes, this gives us true or false. Now we have another one. We can have result is equals to. We can check whether our string start with a certain character or substring using this method. So I can say my name dot starts with. We invoke this and then we pass in a character or a substring. Okay, so right here, if I pass in C, I should get true. Now when I save, we get true on our console. When we say Chaoo, now this is a substring and actually it starts with Chaoo, we get true at the console. So if we say Charles, our string does not start with Charles, it starts with Chaoo. Now when I save, we get false. Awesome. So this starts with, it's used to check whether our string starts with a specific character or substring. Also, we can check whether our string ends with a particular character or substring. So right here we can have result will be equal to my name, and then we have dot ends with. Okay, when we invoke this and pass in a substring, does our string end with S and then save? That is true. There we go. Does it end with less with just one S? That is true. Does it end with CH or does it end with Chaoo like that? No, it does not end with Chaoo. That is false. So ends with is used to check whether our string ends with a specific substring or character. Awesome. So this one will return true or false. And then for our index of and last index of right here, these will return the position. And for our uppercase and lowercase, those are self-explanatory. For replace is self-explanatory. So you can see actually these string methods are not too hard to understand. Okay, cool. Now we have another cool string method for cutting out white spaces. Okay, for cutting out white spaces. So right here, let's have a result as my name. Okay, so despite all these things that we have done here, my name has not changed. So it is still Chaoo Charles. So when I save, we still have our Chaoo Charles going on there because string are primitive types and their value never changes. So we can include the space here and we can also include, okay, this one will not be visible, but this one will be visible. Now see a difference when I save. Now you can see we have a space here and we'll also have another one right here, but we can't take note of that. Now we have another string method called trim, which is used to cut white spaces at the end. Okay, so now right here, when I say result is equals to my name, and then we call dot trim method like that and invoke it. Now this will cut out the white spaces. There we go. Now they are gone. So trim is just used to cut out the white spaces. Okay. Now let's end this particular episode by checking at how to get substrings from right here. Okay. So when working with substring, we have been passing them like this and then getting true or false or getting the position. But now we want to get back a result of a substring from our string. Okay, cool. Now right here, we will work with substrings. So in JavaScript, we have three methods which we can use. And the first one is the slice method. So right here, we can say result is equals to my name. And then we can call dot slice. Okay, this is a method which is used to get a substring. Okay, cool. Now this slice method accepts two parameters, and the first one is the starting position of our substring. So we can say let it start from 0, and then the other one is the end position, which is let's say we want to get Chaoo from our string. So that will be for now, let's remove the white spaces because they are also counted. So that will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Up to 4. But now with slice, it will not include the last position, the last character. So we should go up to 5 for us to get Chaoo. Okay. So right here, we should go from 0 to 5 for us to actually get Chaoo. So when I save that, then we get Chaoo. So if we said 4, the last character will not be included. So 1 O will be omitted. So you should like add another one for it to display the correct thing. Now you can also like get Charles right here. So the starting position will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the starting position should be 6 right here. And then the end position should be I think 13. Okay, so the total of our character end was 13. Okay, but since we are counting from 0, this S will be at position 12, and then 13 will be like a position that does not exist, but since it's not included, it won't affect our count. So right here we can include 13 like that. Now when I save, we should get Charles. There we go. Awesome. So slice is used to like get that particular substring from our string right there. And as I have told you, this is the start position, this is the end position, but the end position is not included in our string. Cool. Now, can we use like negative values in this one? Yes, we can use them. But now that will count us from this side, from the right side. So we would have maybe, let's say, negative. Let's just use a random number, -4. And now right here, we can't use 0. We can use -1 though. So that will get us from, so it won't include our S right here. And then our first value will be -4 from this side. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we would have these R, L, and E on the console. So let's save and see. I will save, and that is what we have on the console. So when counting from this side, don't start from 0, start from 1. Okay. Okay, cool. So you can use negative values. Now the reason why I showed you this one is because we have another method which is similar to slice, and let's make use of it. So I'll say result is equals to my name dot substring. So you can see substring, I invoke it. So this works in a similar way. So we can have the first position as maybe 0, and then the second position is maybe our end, which might be maybe 5. So that would get us Chaoo. When I save, we should see Chaoo on the console. So what this does, it gets the substring between these two. Okay, and amazingly, it allows the first number here to be bigger than the last number. So right here we can like invert them like this. We start with 5, we end with 0. When I save, we still get Chaoo. Now that is one of the difference between the slice here and the substring here. Okay, now the other difference is that substring does not accept negative values. When we use a negative value, it will treat it as 0. So right here we will get an empty string. So when I save, nothing, because this is negative. So this will be treated as 0. When we treat this as 5 here, now this will be 0 to 5, then we get our name. So take note of that. It does not, okay, it accepts negative values, but they will be changed to zeros and essentially. So that is substring. Awesome. Now we have another special method. So let's use it. And that is my name dot str. So this is you can read it as a string, but okay, I missed something. this is sub str. So you can read it as substring, but since this is already being used, we just use str. Okay. So now this one accepts the first parameter as the start position. So it can accept 0. And then the second parameter now will be the length of our substring, like how many characters. So right here we can include like 5 characters, and that will still get us the same result. When I save that, we get the same result. But now we can see the difference clearly. Let's get Charles. So for Charles, we'll start at position 6. Position 6. And then Charles has how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right here, we will not pass the position, the end position. We will pass 7. And this will get us Charles. So when I save that, we get Charles. Awesome. But in our slice here, if you are doing this way, this will be the start position, this will be the end position. So this will be 13 for it to work out. So the substring, this is the start position, and then the length or the number of characters that we want. Awesome. So these are the 3 methods that are used to get substrings in JavaScript: slice, substring, sub-str. Okay, and awesome. And amazingly, we have covered the common methods that you can use to work with strings. So these are the common one. Okay, and once you need string methods, you can always reference MDN website. So you don't need to cram them. You can reference MDN, and then you can also let me give you these sites. You can also reference what we call javascript.info. Okay, so you can reference javascript.info. Just search for javascript.info string methods or MDN string methods, and once you need them, you can always get them from there. Not unless you are going to an exam room where you need to like know them, then you need to understand them and know them by name. Or not unless you are going to an interview, you can be asked to get a substring of a certain string. So in that case, you need to know a specific method. But for daily usage, you don't usually need to cram these string methods. You just need to like reference them and then make use of them. And that is it for this episode. I hope you have learned something. And did you enjoy the content in this video? Please remember to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also you can join this channel's Discord server, and I'll leave a link at the description section below. Please check it out and join the Discord server. Okay, so I'll see you in the next one.